Today, definitely, we are going to be moving through classical sun salutations, and we're going to turn it into a more of a traditional flow. So I have blocks over here on the mat. I have my yoga blanket. And if you don't have blocks, you might set up next to a wall. As you can see, I'm going to back up here. As you can see, I am always practicing next to a wall, which is awesome. So blocks or a wall is going to be a huge help for our bodies if we would like that today. And then I always come prepared with a strap. We're going to be doing some reaching of our arms, and a strap just helps our arms be even longer. So if we're reaching our feet, we can use a strap for some help here. And then you don't have to use a yoga strap. You can use a dog leash. You can use a robe tie. But we'll start our practice seated. And we're going to start seated on our blanket. So placing it on your mat. Let's find our seat. Ooh. And then you might start your practice in Sukhasana with legs crossed. This is a pretty traditional way to begin a seated yoga practice. You might separate your legs, create a little more space for the belly here. There are no rules. So there's no exact posture in which you start your practice, but the posture that brings ease and comfort, because the first thing we're going to do is ground ourselves inside our body. To do that, allow your hands to rest where they feel good, maybe atop the thighs, maybe on the knees. Take a deep breath into your belly, feel it expand and stretch. And as you exhale, let your gaze diffuse or your eyes close if that feels good. Continue to practice these deep, slow breaths into the body. And as you fill the belly and the lungs, notice how the body stretches and expands, how the shoulders rise up gently. On each exhale, feel the belly soften. Let the shoulders melt from the ears. Bring ease to the jaw and the tongue and the mouth. Just take some deep, slow breaths together. How full can we fill the belly, the heart, and the lungs with each inhale? In yoga, this is called your Durga breath. D-I-R-G-A, Durga. In Sanskrit, it means complete. And in yoga, we're always searching out, we're always looking for our complete breath in whatever we're doing, in whatever posture we're in. Can our breath be full? Can it flow deeply in and out of the body? And then you might continue this deep Durga breath, or you might find your more natural inhale and exhale. We'll take a deep stimulation of the vagal brake here. On an inhale, sweep the right arm up and overhead. Let the palm either land on the side of the face or maybe just on the side of the top of the head here. We're going to invite the right ear just to start sinking down towards that right shoulder. Feel the length that you're creating on the left side of the neck here as that left shoulder melts on down towards the mat, further lengthening the side of the neck. And then maybe you use the weight of your hand to assist this stretch just a little further. We're not looking for pain. We're not looking for sharpness. We're just looking for this deep stretch. We're stimulating the vagal brake here that runs along the side of the neck down around the heart. It's responsible for your heart rate. And when it's stimulated, the heart rate slows. So this might feel great just like it is. If we want to stimulate that nerve a little more intensely, keeping the head and the neck still, turn your gaze towards the sky. Find a fixed point that engages the muscles on the outside of the eye here or all around the eye. And then blinking as often as you like. Notice where you can soften. Can you once more find ease in your jaw and tongue? Can you let the shoulders hang low? Can you relax this left side of the neck here, inviting the length? And then when you're ready, close your eyes, release your hand from atop your head, let the head start to float upright, nice and slow. Oh, how slow can you go? And then note what you feel, this deeply stimulated vagal nerve. Maybe there's a floating sensation, a warmth, a buzz, an ache. We just observe. There's no right or wrong. There's no too much or not enough. There just is today. We'll switch sides on an inhale, send that left arm up and overhead, plant the palm, left ear starts to melt down towards the shoulder, lengthen the right side of the neck. And you might hang out here with gaze diffused or eyes closed. You might already know you want to turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. You make the choice, whatever your body is asking for. But soften into this posture. Notice where you're holding tension, maybe in the belly. Maybe the breath has shallowed. Maybe the shoulders have hunched up towards the ears. Soften everywhere it makes sense. Even down through the thighs and the glutes. And then when you're ready, diffuse that gaze once more or close the eyes. Lift the hand from the head. Let the head float upright. Wonderful, wonderful. Just to find some balance here, let's move on to our hands and knees for some cat-cow, some extension and flexion of that neck and the full length of the spine. For cat-cow, take your blanket, put it up underneath your knees, unless you don't enjoy that sensation. And then if our wrists are sensitive or if we're taking care of them today, you might use your blocks and do hands and knees on your forearms. You might do it up against the couch or the bed. Everything that we're doing here can be done from any of those places, but finding our neutral spine first. Our knees are about hip distance apart. The toes extend from the feet, tracking with the knees here. Palms beneath the shoulders, maybe a little bit in front if that feels good, and you might decide palms directly beneath or palms a few inches in front of the shoulders, which can actually bring some ease to your posture. And then to find cow, we soften through the belly nice and slow. Let the belly hang loose, maybe even take a deep breath in, feel the belly button start to drop down towards the earth. And as you release any effort in the spine, the belly continues to drop. You might feel the tailbone start to curl up towards the ceiling. Continue to breathe deep into the belly, really feeling that tailbone curling up towards the ceiling, noticing how much space you have for the breath here. And then on your next inhale, gaze comes forward. Notice how it draws the heart center forward along with it. And then you're just going to press your chin in front of you. You might find an even greater stretch by inviting the chin upwards towards the ceiling. But breathe deep into the belly here. In Bidhalasana and cow, we're opening the entire front body. Shaking off that heaviness in the body. Opening the portion of our body that closes when we're anxious, depressed, exhausted, fatigued. Here we invite the opposite. Beautiful. Having hung out in cow for a while, let's turn it into cat. Start to press through the palms. Head starts to drop on down towards the earth. So pressing through the palms, we let the head hang heavy, neck hangs loose here. You might even give the head a little jiggle just to ensure. Feel all the length that you're creating here at the back of the neck. And then let's bring the pelvis into it. Let's tuck the tailbone in towards the belly button. Notice all the length that you're creating in the low back. So we're finding length up in the back of the neck and length down in the low back. From here, we'll press once more actively through the palms, feel the shoulders separate, and then press down through the knees or the shins and notice how it assists you tucking that tailbone maybe a little more deeply in towards the belly button. Really finding this nice arched back, this cat. And then let's move with the breath now that we've explored the intensity or the edge ranges of this posture. On an inhale, drop the belly low, head and the tail rise up. Reaching with that chin. As you exhale, press through the palms, head and the tail curl on down towards the earth, finding that C shape along the spine before once more inhaling, sending the belly low to cow, head and the tail come up. So we move back and forth at the pace of your own breath and let the breaths be deep. Notice as you press cat or you press into cat, how deeply you can exhale the breath from the body. As you inhale into cow, how full can you fill that low belly? Let's do 2 more rounds of breath. And then on an exhale of your choice, walk the hands back towards the body. We'll come up onto the shins. So we'll come into Anjane Asana and we're going to step the left leg forward first. We're going to loosen through the hips a little bit because we're going to move into our sun salutations here. But we'll draw our hands on the hips or place our hands on our hips here. Invite the thumbs to travel towards one another. They're not touching, but they're sinking, slipping in towards one another until the palms of your hands plant on the low back. We'll invite the elbows to tuck inward towards one another and notice how the heart opens as you do this. Now you might hang out here, pressing firmly through the front of this left foot, feeling this strong foundation through that right knee and the top of this right foot. Hanging out, breathing into the heart center, or you might use the palms of your hands to gently press the hips forward. Notice as you do, you can more deeply tuck those elbows in towards one another, open through the heart center. Let the gaze lift towards the sky. Breathe into that heart center. Invite it up towards the sun. Take in any energy that you need in this moment. If we're feeling fatigued, just with each inhale, invite the breath into the heart center, invite that energy into the heart center. And then on an exhale, release the hands. We're going to sink the hips back, straighten this front leg, come up into half Hanumanasana or Ardha Hanumanasana. Lifting the left toes up off the mat, we'll flex them towards the heart. This is a great time to grab your blocks on either side of this extended leg. Plant your palms, right, at any height you like on the blocks. You're going to press your heart forward over the top of this toes as the toes flex back towards the heart. Half Hanumanasana, also known as Ardha Hanumanasana. In Sanskrit, Ardha is half. We find that also in our half lift or half fold, as you might think of it, which we'll move into later. All right, from here, come back up onto the pad of that left foot. Let's switch sides. Left knee comes in, extend the right leg. Woo! Catch your balance, take a moment, hands on the hips, tuck the thumbs towards one another, plant the palms, draw the elbows in, open up through that heart center and breathe. And you might already be gently pressing those hips forward. You might just hang out here. There are no rules. We honor our own personal experience. We honor our body here. 2 more deep breaths, just inviting in any energy that you'd like to receive today. Just envision it filling that heart center up, and on an exhale of your choice, Ardha Hanumanasana, half Hanuman. Extend that front right leg, flex the toes towards the heart, grab your blocks if you'd like. And then we press the heart over the toes, this equal and opposite pressure. And where I really feel this in my body is the back of my leg, outside of my hip. You might feel it all the way up the back into the shoulders. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. From here, we're going to step up into a forward fold. So I'm going to walk my blocks in front of my feet. Maybe you use your blocks, maybe you don't. But you come forward, plant the hands, curl the toes of that back foot, and step forward into a forward fold. And our forward fold, we're going to keep pretty wide, maybe almost mat's width apart. As you fold down, tuck the belly between the legs. You might give the knees a big bend just to make space for the belly. And from wherever you are in your fold, keep a gentle little bend in the knees. Maybe hands rest on blocks, maybe they hang heavy. But wherever you are, take a moment to check in with the head and the neck. Can you let the head and the neck hang loose? Give them a little jiggle here. Just like in cow, we don't want to put any effort into our neck. This fold in Sanskrit is uttanasana, forward fold. We'll move from here into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold, which you also know as half lift. On an inhale, we'll rise up in this half lift, this flat back. You might keep your palms on your blocks. You might place them on your shins or your thighs. But wherever we're bracing our arms, we're using them as a prop to press length through the top of our head, to find all this length through the spine. Keeping again that gentle bend in the knees, breathing here in Ardha Uttanasana, half fold. On your next breath in, fill the belly deep. As you exhale, lower back down into Uttanasana or fold. From here, find a deeper bend in the knees. Feel your butt start to sit back a little bit, almost into chair, Utkatasana, which is chair. And then keeping this generous bend in the knees, we're going to press down to the pads of the feet. Feel your weight pressing down to the pads of the feet. And then when you're ready, we're going to rise up. You might swing the arms out and up as you do. You might press up on blocks, but let's rise all the way up. Arms skyward in Urdhva Hastasana. We'll stay here for a moment and just breathe. Pressing the fingertips skyward, feeling all of this length in the body. Feel your body weight press down through the pads of your feet as you're lifting up through your fingertips, gently inviting that heart center forward just a little bit. Urdhva Hastasana here. On an exhale, bring the palms together, lower them on down towards the heart center in Samastiti. Beautiful. We'll move into our classical sun salutations, but we'll start them modified first. So hanging out here in your Tadasana, I like to start mine wide, right? I like to do my whole sun salutation with my feet wide enough for me to easily fold with my belly. So you might play with that. Maybe your Tadasana is hip distance apart. Maybe like me, it's almost mat distance apart. The more that you meet yourself in these places, the more that you take on a playful mindset, the easier it is to figure out what works for you and to not care what anybody else thinks. All right, finding your Tadasana. Pressing firmly through the pads of the feet, take a moment and lift your toes up. And you might hold on to the wall while you do this. But try and find your balance on your mat with your toes lifted up. In yoga, we find our balance through the pads of our feet, also known as the Padabandha root lock, where you feel the pads of your feet press down into the earth here. This is how we find our balance. Without using your toes, you might shift your weight forward onto the ball of your foot. Notice, can you keep the toes up as you do? You might notice how the front of the legs flex and engage as you just gently lean forward. Now lean back, shift your weight into your heel. We're still keeping our toes up, knowing that we can touch down, find balance anytime we like. But can you feel your weight in your heels? Can you hold your balance here, toes up off the mat? Beautiful. Settle back down evenly onto the pads of your feet. Find that Pada Bandha root lock once more. Let the toes now soften on down towards the mat. Release any effort there. Find that micro bend in the knees. We don't want to hyperextend. And then let's move through the first portion of our classical sun salutation. From this posture, on an inhale, sweep the arms out and up back into Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, sweep the arms out and down, hinge at the hips into forward fold, Uttanasana. Find the blocks, maybe walk your hands down the wall if that feels good. Maybe you're ditching the blocks. There's all sorts of ways to experience Uttanasana. On an inhale, rise up to Ardha Uttanasana, our flat back. As you exhale, plant the hands on blocks or on the mat. Step the right leg back. That right knee is going to find that blanket. We're going to sweep the arms up into Anjaneyasana Asana. And breathe here for a moment. Here is our Anjaneyasana Asana. Again, we invite the heart to lift and rise. You might even press your thumbs just a little bit towards the wall behind you, finding a gentle back bend here in this Anjaneyasana Asana, a beautiful posture for inviting the sun. And then on an exhale, bring the hands down into the mat. And because I'm a big girl, I like to bring them onto the inside of this left foot and plant them down. You might use blocks here, but we're going to step back into either knees, chest, chin, or a half push-up. So you can't do blocks when you moved down, otherwise you'll hyperextend through the elbows. So it's a little messy, but we drop down for either our half push-up or our knees, chest, chin, keeping the elbows tucked into the side body. For now, I'm going to do a half push-up, keeping the elbows tucked into the side body, lowering my heart center down. Beautiful. Planting the palms beneath the shoulders. We're going to roll our shoulders up towards our ears and then squeeze the shoulders together and back. So we're doing some shoulder circles here. I should be clear with that. Let's do some shoulder circles. Forward and up, back and down. One more time, forward and up, back and down, and hold here. The shoulders are squeezed, the shoulder blades squeezed together, the heart open. On an inhale, we're gonna lift up. The gaze comes up, heart comes up, and hold. We're not using our hands here. We're just lifting through the front body. Hold. And then release, let go of all effort. Let the belly relax, let the hips relax, maybe you give them a little wiggle. And then let's find our full cobra. So on an inhale, once more, roll the shoulders forward and up. As you exhale, roll them down and back, hold them there. On your next inhale, rise up the heart and the head. And once you get as far as you can, lifting with your strength of your back and your abs, start to press through the palms of the hands, extending the arms long. And you might get the arms all the way straight. Wonderful. Let the pelvis sink down towards the earth. But if your elbows are still bent and you're halfway, that's beautiful too. And no, this is so much more challenging than this, right? The difference is flexibility, not strength here. Beautiful. On an exhale, lower on down. Let's press back, not into downward dog, but into tabletop. On an inhale, lengthen that right leg behind you. As you exhale, step it up back into Anjane Asana. You're not going to get very far, right? With the belly in the way likely. Awesome. Rise up. Adjust this front foot as much as you like. On an inhale, arms lift, heart falls forward, Anjane Asana. On an exhale of your choice, sweep the arms down. We're going to plant them and step forward into a forward fold. So curl the toes of that back foot. Press into the palms of your hands. Find your Uttanasana. Let the head hang heavy. Bend through the knees, that little micro bend. Neck hangs loose here. Maybe the arms hang down. Maybe we support them on blocks. And then on an inhale of your choice, find this half lift. Palms to shins, thighs, or blocks. As you exhale, sink back down into Uttanasana. On an inhale, find the bend in the knees, sweep the arms out and up. We rise to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms come together towards the heart center in Samastiti. Let's do this on the other side, but let's move a little more swiftly with the breath, so less explaining on my part. On an inhale from your Tadasana, right? Get the legs situated. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to that half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands. This time we're going to step that left knee back. On your inhale, sweep the arms up, Anjane Asana. As you exhale, we plant the hands, not on blocks, and we're going to step back, knees, chest, chin, or half push-up. This time I'm going to do knees, chest, chin. So my knees are planted, elbows tucked towards my side body. As I lower down, I'm going to keep my hips up. I'm going to invite my heart center down, and then my chin down, gaze comes forward. So this is knees, chest, chin. It's also known in Sanskrit as Ashtanga Pranam. And then from here, we move into Cobra by lengthening the legs out behind us, dropping the pelvis, ensuring the palms are beneath each shoulder. And then on an inhale, heart center rises first, gaze rises first. We only press through the arms when we're ready. As you exhale, curl the toes on the mat, press back into tabletop. As you inhale, lengthen the left leg out behind you. As you exhale, step it forward. Look at my range of motion on this side, right here. That's it. That's what I got. So now I'm going to rise up, step my left leg all the way forward, right? Don't be afraid to make transitions. On an inhale of your choice, sweep your arms up, Anjane Asana. As you exhale, curl that back toe, plant the hands on the blocks or on the mat. Let's step forward into forward fold. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale all the way back down into our fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, bend to the knees, sweep the arms out and up. We rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Palms towards the heart center as you exhale, Samastiti. Beautiful. We'll move through this, and this time I will cue for downward dog instead of tabletop, but note that you're welcome to hang out in tabletop. It feels incredible. I enjoy it in my personal practice, but I want to give you guys the option of exploring a downward facing dog. So from your Tadasana, we'll begin. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up. The gaze might rise with the fingertips. As you exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step the right foot back. Inhale, Anjane Asana. Exhale, we plant the hands all the way down, knees, chest, chin, or half push up. Let the body flatten out as you inhale, press up into Cobra. As you exhale, curl the toes, press back into tabletop or downward facing dog. For downward facing dog, you'll start by pressing into tabletop, and then you're going to continue lifting the knees up off the mat. Walk the toes a little closer to the body. That can be helpful. And then we're going to press our heels gently down towards the earth. They may or may not reach as we invite our heart center to sink towards our big toes. Notice how the ears sink between the shoulders. If we're hanging out in tabletop right now, because that's what feels good for us this morning, then hang out and do some cat-cows here. If you're hanging out with me in traditional tabletop, let's lower, in traditional downward facing dog, let's lower down into tabletop for a moment. Let's do some cat-cows as well. So just moving at your own pace, give your wrists a break, give your shoulders a break for a moment. All right, you can continue in this cat-cow tabletop or grab your blocks. Let's try downward facing dog again. Let's bring a little ease. So anytime that we use blocks, it lifts the floor up. In downward facing dog, it shifts our weight back towards our feet, relieving some pressure on the wrists and the ankles. So from tabletop once more with the blocks, curl the toes, lift the knees up, shift the hips back, walk the feet forward a little bit, find a little micro bend in the knees here. And you might notice, how does it feel to use the block? Maybe you take some deep knee bends here, bending that right knee, lowering that right hip down towards the mat before switching sides. It can help in these really intense postures to find some movement to distract you while you are building strength, while your brain is creating new neural pathways to get used to this sensation. All right, if you're in downward dog, let's meet in tabletop. If you're in tabletop, you're already awesomely there. When you're ready, on an inhale, we're gonna stretch this right leg back behind us. As you exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise up, adjust the leg. We'll come into Anjane Asana. Exhale, plant the hands, step forward into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, back down to Uttanasana. As you inhale, press to the pads of the feet, sweep the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Palms towards the heart center as you exhale, Samastiti. Beautiful. Other side, using the variations that feel good in your body. Let it be messy, explore it, let it be playful. There are no metrics here, right? We're here just to hang, explore, feel, get weird with it, get frustrated, make a breakthrough or two, and then come back again for some more. All right, from your Tadasana, your mountain pose, on an inhale, sweep the arms and the gaze up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, press long through the top of the head. Exhale, step the left leg back, plant that left knee now. Inhale, sweep the arms up, heart rises, or Anjane Asana. As you exhale, move the blocks, plant the hands, knees, chest, chin, or half push-up. Flatten the body out. On an inhale, we press up into cobra, tucking the shoulder blades, opening through the heart. As you exhale, curl the toes. Tabletop, hanging out in tabletop, or maybe downward facing dog. Wherever you are, on an inhale, we're going to send the left leg back behind us. As we exhale, step it forward. Lower that right knee down. Rise up, make your adjustments in Anjane Asana. As you exhale, plant the hands, step forward in that forward fold. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, full fold. Inhale, bend through the knees, press to the pads of the feet, sweep the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's do it again, but now let's move into a flow with it. We'll do some hands and knees stuff. We'll do some standing postures. It's going to be wonderful. But now you can see how a lot of teachers will tuck in extra postures into these classical sun salutations to make a whole class. So from here, we'll start one more time on an inhale, sweep the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti, big fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Oop. Exhale, let's step the right knee back. Inhale, Anjaneyasana Asana. And this time, as you exhale, let's plant our left hand on the inside of this left foot. And this is a great time to grab a block. You might plant a block here. You might have a really open hips, pull your belly to the inside of the thigh and plant the palm of that left hand all the way down on the ground. So you decide where you want to be, but on an inhale, we're going to sweep the right arm open towards the right, up towards the ceiling. We're going to find this twist here. And you might notice how the back of your left arm can help you as an anchor to further open you up from the rib cage and the heart, right? The heart wants to twist in the same direction as this hand here. We hold, this is an open twist. It leaves plenty of room for the belly here. Take one more deep breath. How much can you open? How deeply can you invite in any energy that you are acquiring today? On an exhale, sweep that right arm down. Let's come into a closed twist, which is not as fun with tummies. For this closed twist, we'll rise up. We're going to twist the opposite direction, and you might just try it right now. Plant this right hand on top of that block, and then twist the opposite direction. And you might notice your range of motion is stunted quite a bit. There's not enough room for the belly often. So we're going to problem solve this a little bit. Two options. First thing you do, lift the belly up before you twist. Notice the range of motion that it brings. The second variation you might try is just taking this block and making space. So I'm going to separate where I plant my arm. So this right hand is going to come out towards the right onto this block. And you can see there's some space between my feet now. This time, as I swing my left arm up towards the sky, there's plenty of space for the breath in my chest, in my belly, and I can really focus my twist, my sensation all along the spine. I'm not distracted by how long I can hold my breath or whether or not I'm in pain. I'm just experiencing the fullness of this closed twist. Beautiful. On an exhale, sweep that left arm down. We're going to try a variation on Warrior 2 here for a second, and then we'll move to the opposite side of the body. So we'll try some standing Warrior 2, but first, let's do it on the mat. So Warrior 2 is a hip opener. We are externally rotating the hips here. For Warrior 2, it looks like this. Because we want to open this right hip, we're going to take this foot from directly behind us and swing it in towards the body. Now I'm open like this. You might notice that you can lean into this front knee, really get an opening in the hips here. You might just try that. It's an excellent, excellent hip opener, especially from side to side. So here is our Warrior 2. Sweeping the arms out towards the side, we find ourselves in the fullness of warrior. So our heart is pointed in the same direction as this right knee. And then to turn this into an extended side angle, which we'll also try standing, we're going to bend this left elbow, plant the forearm on top of this left thigh, and then sweep the right arm up overhead until our fingertips are pointing in the opposite direction as that planted knee. Beautiful. So here is your extended side angle. On an inhale, sweep the arms back up into Warrior 2. And then we'll come back into Anjaneyasana. So extend that Foot out behind you once more. Sweep this right arm up. Here we are, Anjane Asana. On an exhale, knees, chest, chin, or half push-up. Flatten the body against the mat. As you inhale, find your way into cobra. On your exhale, curl the toes, press back into tabletop. Maybe you keep going into downward dog. On an inhale, we're gonna stretch this right leg up behind us. Whether we're in tabletop or downward dog doesn't matter. As you exhale, step it forward. Lower that left knee down. Adjust this right front leg. Sweep the arms up, Anjane Asana. Beautiful, beautiful. On an exhale, step forward, forward fold. Make space for that belly. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, back down to Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti. All right, opposite side for some more play. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step the left leg back. Inhale, Anjane Asana. Exhale, hang out here. We're going to find this twist on the opposite side of the body. So you might grab this block, place it on the inside of this right ankle. We're going to plant that right hand. So the back of our arm, inside of this right thigh, plant that right hand, and then sweep your left arm open towards the left and up towards the sky. Let your gaze follow that left hand. We talked about this in chair yoga earlier this morning, but whatever direction your gaze is pointed in yoga, it's called your drishti. You'll often hear teachers say, drishti towards the fingertips of your left hand. That just means gaze that direction. On an exhale, sweep that left arm down. Get ready for this closed twist. So maybe we're just lifting the belly and twisting. Maybe we're taking this block, widening it out towards the left, and then finding a little more space for our belly. Wherever we find ourselves, take a moment here, explore this twist. Breathe deep into the body. Let it be messy. Let it be hard, but don't let it be painful. On an exhale, sweep that right arm down. Beautiful. Let's come all the way down into knees, chest, chin, or half push-up. Flatten the body out as you inhale, rise up to cobra. Keep the elbows tucked. Curl the toes. As you exhale, press back into tabletop or all the way up into downward facing dog. As you inhale, extend that left leg out and back. As you exhale, step it forward. Make your adjustments. Inhale to Anjane Asana. Exhale, step forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, all the way back down. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti. Beautiful. From here, we're going to do some standing posture work. So let's move our blanket to the side. We're not going to need it, and we don't want to accidentally trip over it. And then we'll find ourselves back in our Tadasana. So from our Tadasana, shift your weight over into your left foot. You're going to come up onto the toes of your right foot. We're finding our balance here. You might find a fixed point in front of you and just let your gaze diffuse around it. You can keep this toe planted. If you want to explore a greater challenge, you might lift this right knee up, press down through your heel, flex the toes up towards the heart. So we're engaging the leg. And breathe into the body. Beautiful. On an exhale, we're going to step this leg back on our mat, a big generous step into high lunge. That means we're coming up on the ball of this back foot. The heel is lifted. Bend this left knee towards 90. So we're just bending it a little bit. Maybe it's at 90, maybe it's not, but we're not here to think about it too much. We're just here to feel about it. So here we are in high lunge. From here, let's find warrior two standing. We're going to take our back heel. We're going to rotate it all the way in until this back right foot, the length of our foot is in line with the short edge of our mat. This front foot remains where it is, the length of it in line with the long edge of our mat. So here is our warrior two. Notice this external hip rotation. We're opening through the hips. Let's swing our arms out towards the side. So here we are, warrior two. You might turn your drishti towards those left fingertips extended in front of you if that feels good. And then let's play with that extended side angle. So bending this left arm, plant the forearm atop the thigh, swing that right arm up overhead. And you might just press this arm directly up, which can feel nice. Or you might continue swinging the right arm up overhead until you're pressing in the opposite direction of that extended right leg. Beautiful. Feel the burn. Yes, it burns. On an inhale, press to the pads of the feet, keeping that bend in the knee, swing the arms back up into warrior two. And then let's come into triangle, extend this front leg. Give it a break. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's come into peaceful triangle. So we're going to drop our right hand on the back of our thigh. We're going to sweep our left arm up, drishti up towards that left hand. And then how far can you let the palm of that right hand sink down that thigh as you press the fingertips of that left arm up? Breathe into the belly here. Beautiful. From here, we'll move back into extended side angle. So rise up. Let's find our warrior two, bend through that front knee towards 90. And then extended side angle, bend that left arm, plant the forearm, sweep the right arm up overhead. Stop where it feels good. And then you might turn this into a little twist if you'd like by pressing down to this left forearm and using it to open the heart up towards the ceiling. So in the same direction as your extended hand. Beautiful. On an inhale, rise back up to warrior two. Ooh, my headset is dying. As you exhale, turn your body back into a high lunge. Wonderful. So we're up on the ball of this back right foot. Heel is lifted. You might still be bending that front knee towards 90. And then we're going to take a big, slow step back into Tadasana. And I do this by first leading with the heart and then stepping forward. Beautiful. Rise up. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. We're going to find our balance on the opposite side of the body. So shifting your weight over into the right leg, come up onto the toe of that left foot, hang out. Is this where you want to be? Yes. Maybe this is where you want to be. And you lift that left knee up, pressing through the heel, flexing the toes towards the body. Both postures are postures of balance. Find that fixed point. Relax your jaw and your tongue. Let the shoulders melt from the ears here as we continue to balance for a moment. And then take a big step back on your mat. Big, big, big. Come up on the ball of that back foot, right? This high lunge. You might even inhale, send the arms up. Gosh, it looks an awful lot like Anjaneyasana, doesn't it? All right, this back heel comes into our warrior two. So we're going to swing it in. This back foot now perpendicular with the short edge of our mat or in line with the short edge of our mat. Swing the arms out by their sides. Bend through that front knee towards 90. Your drishti towards that front right hand, warrior two. And then you can choose how challenging your warrior is. If you want a little less of a challenge today, bring this back foot a little closer to your body. Warrior two. This is a beautiful warrior two. If you want a greater challenge, extend the back leg away from you. So you can personalize this to your body. And then from here, let's do extended side angle. So bend that right elbow, plant the forearm, sweep the left arm up overhead. Maybe you continue that rotation. Pressing down through that left foot as I press up and out through the fingertips of my left hand, left arm. And then engage the trunk of the body, rise back up into warrior two. So arms stretched out, drishti towards this front right hand. And then extend this front leg, come into triangle. Now peaceful triangle. Left palm travels down the thigh. Right palm lifts up towards the sky. Ooh, can we feel some length here on the right side of our body? Peaceful triangle. And then let's move back into warrior two. So on an inhale, sweep the arms out, bend through that front right knee. One more time, extended side angle. All right. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Rise up, warrior two. And then let's come into high lunge. And so we're going to turn our heart center towards the front of our mat. We're going to come up onto the ball of this back foot. Woo. Beautiful. You might bring your arms up once more into a high lunge, Anjaneyasana asana type of pose. And then when you are ready, lean your heart center forward first. You might even bend down, grab your blocks, but step forward into a forward fold. Leave room for the belly, bend the knees, tuck that belly in, and then let the head hang heavy. Let it hang heavy. Beautiful. On an inhale of your choice, bend the knees, press to the pads of the feet, rise up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastiti. Beautiful. This time, let's interlace our fingers behind our back. Let's drop the tops of our hands down towards the earth. Feel the heart open. Feel it rise. Feel a space that we're making there. And then if you'd like, let's take this into a forward fold. So we're going to lead with the heart. The hands, the thumbs, they're going to slide up the back. That's all right. We're going to invite our heart down. And if this doesn't feel good, then just take a regular forward fold, releasing the hands, walking them down the wall or blocks to support the body. But we're taking this fold nice and slow, inviting the heart center down, keeping those hands interlaced. Maybe you just grab the hands behind the back or the forearms. We're just opening the heart up in this real slow forward fold. And once you start to get down here, open up those knees, make space for your belly, let the heart center open. It can feel nice to lift the palms up off the back. I have really tight shoulders, so there's not a whole lot of range of motion for me here, but this can feel pretty good for certain body sizes and shapes. So explore it if you like. And then when you're ready, release your hands nice and slow. Let them find the floor, let them find the wall, let them find blocks or your shins. Be here for a moment. And then let's step back to hands and knees. Find ourselves in tabletop. From here, we'll take a wide-legged child's pose. So big toes come together, knees out towards the side, real wide. We're going to sit our hips back towards our heels and then walk our heart center down towards the earth. And you might grab your blanket here, roll it up, place it up underneath the chest for some more support. You might ditch the blanket altogether, but we're going to take a moment here. You might extend the arms out long, invite the heart center down. Beautiful. When you're ready, walk your hands towards your body. We'll rise back up. Let's roll onto our backs to end our practice, but keep your blanket close by. As you roll onto your back, We're going to grab our blanket, make like a blanket sausage roll. Bend the knees, plant the pads of the feet. Let the length of the spine rest along the earth for a moment. We have done such good hard work of exploration and discovery. We're going to end our practice in a bit of an inversion, having some time to be playful. So when you're ready, walk the heels up towards the glutes before securely planting them on the earth. We're going to invite our shoulder blades towards one another by walking the backs of our arms together, right? Opening up to the heart center. And once the backs of your arms are firmly planted in the earth, and for me, it feels good to keep my elbows bent and my fingertips skyward, we're going to come into a bridge. So this blanket close by within arm's reach. We'll start to press down to the pads of our feet, feel the pelvis lift up towards the ceiling. Once the pelvis begins to lift, squeeze the glutes, squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. Knees track towards the ceiling, really pressing that pelvis up as high as it would like to go. And then slide the blanket underneath your hips from left to right, just a full support on either side. Slowly lower those hips back on down onto that blanket. And then here's where you might grab your strap. So this blanket helps lift the hips, which means it makes having our legs up in the air or even bent up towards our heart way easier. And we're going to get playful right now in our inversion. So grabbing your strap or not, invite the knees up in towards the chest. And you might grab the backs of the thighs, the outsides of the knees. You might take your strap here to the outsides of the shins. We want to leave space for the belly. We want to leave space for the breath. We're not here to hold our breath or to squeeze it from our body. But pulling the knees up in towards the chest, maybe out towards the armpit to create even more space for the belly here. You might take a rock to the left and the right, just a little one, just with the hips and the legs. Noticing how the support feels beneath you. Letting it massage the low back here. Beautiful. And then from here, I invite you to extend your legs up towards the ceiling. And so you might keep the strap here, just like this, and use it to extend the legs long. You might ditch the strap, but wherever you are, legs up towards the ceiling, press through the heels, flex the toes towards the body for a moment. And then let's reverse that. Let's point the toes towards the ceiling, invite that heel down towards the earth. So a really exaggerated toe point. And then let's do it back and forth. Nice and exaggerated, slow and deep. Maybe some ankle circles one way and then the other. And then let's get playful. Let's be a little silly. If you're going to spend time upside down, knowing that it's incredible for your cardiovascular system, right? For lymph drainage, every part of our body needs us to spend time like this. So let's get a little weird with it. You might, with or without your strap, extend the legs out wide. How does it feel to be wide-legged here, upside down? You might come into bound angle, bringing the pads of the feet together, the knees out wide. You might notice what it feels like to lower one leg and then the other, but we're just gonna get loose. We're just gonna explore. We're just gonna let it be messy and playful, knowing that this has so much value. That when we practice yoga, it's not the yoga of industry. It's not for performance. It's not for some metric. We practice yoga for presence. We practice yoga for freedom. And we just benefit from the countless other incredible things that it brings to our doorstep, like strength, flexibility, body awareness. All right, you can continue to play for as long as you like, but when you're ready to be done, we'll keep this prop beneath the hips, knowing that you can remove it at any time, right? We're going to extend through the heels and slowly lower our legs on down towards the earth. Maybe you use the strap, maybe you don't, but make it nice and slow. Slow, slow, slow. Slow, slow, slow. Letting the heels drop down anytime they like, but how slow can you go? And then can you melt? And here's the thing. Some people are really going to enjoy this little prop beneath the hips, pressing the pelvis skyward. For those of you that might have some compressed lower discs, holding this for a long period of time isn't great. So you might end your practice here, arms and legs out wide, melting for a moment. Or you might choose to bend the knees, plant the pads of the feet, lift the pelvis, slide the blanket out, and then find yourself back in final Shavasana. There is nobody that knows what you need better than you. There is no expert in the world that can tell you what is and is not painful in your body, what does and does not feel good. Only you know when you meet yourself in those places and are willing to explore without judgment. So trust yourself, knowing that each time you come to the mat, there's ample opportunity to make the same or different choices all over again. You are powerful when you listen to your body. You find that power. Knowing you can hang out here in this restful posture, inviting the mind towards stillness for as long as you like. But the time has come for us to end our practice. And if you're feeling ready, you might invite that movement back into the body, the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, the arms and the legs. You might stretch long, pressing through the toes and the fingertips, and then relax all effort. Moving in ways that feel good, moving in ways that gently awaken and honor the practice that you've done today. And then when you're ready, bend the knees, plant the pads of the feet. We'll roll over onto the left or right side body, supporting the head with a blanket or your upper arm. Take a moment here. My goodness, I love taking a moment here. Release any effort. Feel your weight pressing down through your side body. Let even the cheeks on your face grow soft. We take this moment to invite in any sensations, any discoveries that we'd like to remember, that we want to carry with us when our practice is over. We just invite them to settle in, to make a home inside our mind, inside our heart, inside the fibers of our muscles. Rewiring our neural pathways in the process. From here, you might press up into an easy seat. Maybe that is Sukhasana, legs crossed. Maybe it's bound angle, Baddha Konasana. pads of the feet together, knees hanging out wide. However you would like to end, make space for your belly, make space for your chest, bring ease to the low back. If you'd like, we'll end our practice, palms towards the heart center in Anjali Mudra. If you'd like, you might take a gentle bow in the head here. And then we end practice by giving ourselves a pat on the back. That sounds so demeaning. By giving ourselves a mental high five, a big hug because you did it. Showing gratitude to ourselves for showing up, for working through the hard things, for breathing and for being. No one can do this for you but you. And when we choose us, we grow, we change, we shift, we slough off the things that don't serve us. So thank you. And thank you for practicing with me today. The light and the dark in me, my friend, sees the light and the dark in you. And we are the same. We are